Today, I wanted to offer some helpful tips for those of you who have a very busy, overactive mind, whether that's ADHD, neurodivergent, or perhaps you just have a very busy mind. I know for myself that this has been a challenge that I've had my entire life. And when I first started practicing presence, it wasn't easy. But over time, I developed a practice that really worked for me. Now, I'm not going to tell you that my mind is not busy. That would be a lie. My mind is still busy, and I do have to gauge my limitations each and every day because there are certain things that might happen or certain things that might come up that make it impossible for me to really be present with whatever practice it is that I'm doing. And when that does happen, I never judge myself. I recognize it for what it is, I accept it for what it is, and I realize that tomorrow is another day and I will try again. But what I have really come to appreciate is that there is a practice out there for everybody, and that practice may look different from one person to the next. So please gauge what works for you and what doesn't, just leave it behind. But like anything new that we're trying in life that we want to bring more into our world, could be health, could be diet, whatever it is, it's flexing a new muscle and it takes time. So be patient with yourself. Don't try to put a huge amount of expectation on whatever it is that you're choosing to do. And don't think that there is an achievement, something that you need to achieve. There is not any achievement when it comes to practice of presence. This is really about cultivating a way of life that just becomes automatic for us. So there's no level for you to have to reach. That is going to look different for each and every one of you. One of the greatest practices that I have found for myself when it comes to presence is being in nature, our greatest healer. Meditating while in nature is something that I have found so powerfully healing. That doesn't mean that I'm sitting, meditating with my eyes closed, although that does happen for me sometimes. But if you are somebody who is a bit more active, perhaps that's a walk through the forest or a walk on the beach. How that may look for you is engaging your other senses besides just the conceptual thinking mind. Perhaps you're taking the time to smell all of the different things, the salt of the ocean and the seaweed, or the scent of the forest if it's rained. Perhaps it's the sound of the waves, or the sound of the birds chirping, or what that sounds like when you're walking on the forest floor. If you can at all, engaging those senses without using your conceptual mind is the best form of practicing presence while you're in the moment doing what you're doing. That may only last for a few short seconds, if at all, for you. And if it doesn't, that is okay. Continue to practice the best that you know how. And over time, you may find those pockets of time where you're enjoying what it is that you're enjoying without having your mind distract you too much may start to get bigger and bigger. What happened for me is that my mind is still busy. There are times now, though, that I do have where I am free of my thinking mind, and it is a beautiful, beautiful place to be. However, that doesn't happen for me all the time. And sometimes during my day, there are things that have unfolded that make it next to almost impossible for me to escape how busy my mind is. What I don't do in that moment is judge myself. I recognize that this is something that I'm dealing with in this current moment, and then I choose to move forward and just leave it be as it is. I accept that this is the limitation that I have today. Tomorrow's another day, and I can practice again. Another practice that I think is really great as well too, that I have thoroughly enjoyed cultivating in my life, is reminders, timely reminders. Perhaps that's setting a reminder on your phone that goes off periodically throughout the day, however that looks for you, that just simply says, practice more presence. What does that practice of presence look for you in that moment? Perhaps it's conscious breathing. Perhaps it's just taking time out of your schedule, whatever it is that you're doing, because anybody can do this anytime, anywhere, and taking even just 3 short conscious breaths. What that looks like is fully engaging your senses and feeling what that air feels like coming in as you inhale through the nostrils, and paying attention to the breath as you exhale it out of your mouth. In those few short seconds, the conceptual thinking mind can't think and breathe at the same time. You are being relieved of the burden of an overactive mind. You are being put back into the present moment. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It can reset you, especially if you are in a situation where you find yourself not only out of the present moment, but perhaps getting frustrated. That is a great practice for everybody on a day-to-day basis to inculcate. The other way that we can do it is perhaps leaving ourselves a note. Maybe that's a note on the bathroom mirror that says, practice presence while you're brushing your teeth, something we all do day and night. Perhaps it's a note on the fridge. Practice presence while washing your hands. What that means is that while you are engaging in a function that each and every one of us performs on a day-to-day basis, usually we do it without thinking about what we're doing because it's a means to an end. This time, however, we want to pay particular attention to what it is that we're doing. So if you're washing your hands, you're feeling the sensation of the water, engaging again your sensory perceptions, the temperature of the water, the lathering of the soap, the feel of what that feels like as you're lathering the soap, taking your time to engage fully your attention into doing that, and then rinsing your hands underneath the water and drying your hands. Just a few short seconds of doing that each and every day is bringing you into the present moment, because you are choosing at that moment the best that you can to be present with what it is that you're doing. It's not a means to an end. It's a full engagement in your sensory perceptions of what is taking place. And I can't emphasize enough that the practice of presence doesn't need 5 minutes of no conceptual thinking for the light of consciousness to come in. It needs only just a few short seconds. That opening can be very small in order for light to filter in. And when you get to that point of recognizing that you did it for a few short seconds, reward yourself, congratulate yourself. Make sure that you celebrate the mountains and the milestones that you accomplish by doing this, because that is going to help you want to come back and try more. Those few short seconds now turn into a few short more seconds, and so on, until you have started to regularly cultivate being more present in your life. The benefits are so incredible. Does it take practice? Of course it does. Is it worth it? Absolutely it is. I can't even begin to tell you how beautiful this practice can become in really helping you to appreciate the beauty of life when you become more focused on the present moment. So I hope that you'll enjoy these suggestions. And as always, much love and light.